Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Some people scroll past moments like this without a second thought. But not you, because something in your spirit already knows this is a divine appointment. You didn't just land here randomly. You didn't just come across this. God has been staging this moment. And now he's coming closer, not as a vague concept, not as a story from someone else's testimony, but as a visitor into your space, into your house, into your reality. So I need you to hear me carefully. This is not going to be a loud arrival. There won't be thunder crashing or walls shaking. But something holy is about to settle in the air around you. And when it happens, you won't need to ask, is this really him? Because everything in your being will recognize the frequency. This time, God isn't coming to inspect. He's not showing up to correct you or to hold up a clipboard of what you did wrong. He's coming as a father, as a comforter, as the one who saw every private breakdown that nobody else noticed. And now, he's coming to visit the house that you've been trying to hold together with prayer and pieces of faith. Let's get honest for a second. There are rooms in your life that feel untouched by grace, moments you haven't even invited God into because they feel too messy, too unfinished, too personal. But what if I told you that's exactly where he wants to come? This visit isn't for the picture-perfect version of you. It's not for the parts that have it all together. It's for the closet full of what-ifs, the kitchen table where you cried silently over bills and betrayals, the hallway where you pace when you can't sleep because your mind won't quiet down. Yes, that's where he's coming. Because when God visits a house, he doesn't knock like a guest. He walks in like he owns it, because he does. You were his dwelling place before you were even aware of what that meant. You were his temple before you had the language for faith. You were his child before you ever prayed your first prayer. And now, something sacred is happening. He's not just going to pass through, he's coming to stay. But don't mistake this for comfort alone. This kind of visitation also rearranges everything. When God enters a space, things cannot remain in chaos. Peace begins to take root where panic used to grow. Wisdom flows where confusion once shouted. And clarity walks through the hallway like it owns the place. You might not even realize what's shifting at first. You'll just start waking up and noticing that your thoughts feel steadier, your reactions less heavy, your decisions less desperate. That's not just maturity. That's presence. Some of you, if we're being real, have been holding your home together spiritually with threads, just enough hope to get through the day, just enough belief to whisper a tired amen before falling asleep. And God saw that. He saw the way you didn't quit, even though quitting looked reasonable. He saw the way you kept showing up, even though nobody clapped, nobody thanked you, and nobody helped. He saw what happened when the doors closed, what you did when no one was watching, how you kept honoring him when it would have been easier to walk away. And now, he's honoring you, not with a reward, with himself. That's what this is about. This isn't a message about blessings. This is a message about visitation. God is choosing to step into your atmosphere, your apartment, your bedroom, your conversations, your thoughts. He's choosing to come where you are, not where you pretend to be, not where you wish you were, but here. And that changes everything. This kind of divine visitation rewrites the rules. It brings answers before you ask. It brings healing that doesn't even look like a process. It just feels like peace arrived and refused to leave. This isn't about shouting from the rooftops. This is about whispering from within. God is here. So if your life has been feeling quiet, if you've been wondering if anything's really happening behind the scenes, if you've been sensing something, but you couldn't name it, this is your confirmation. He's coming to your house. And when he enters, everything will make sense. Not because the questions disappear, but because Hem becomes the answer. Let me tell you something that often has been forgotten to say. God doesn't wait until your house is perfect to visit. He doesn't demand that everything be in order before he sits down. He comes because he is the order. He comes into broken places not to judge them, but to transform them by his presence. Think about that for a moment. The very areas of your life that feel too messy, too private, too painful, those are the places God is stepping into right now. Not with condemnation, but with compassion. Not with punishment, but with presence. You've tried to clean yourself up before inviting him in. You've delayed your prayers until your faith felt stronger. You've hesitated to expect too much just in case you were disappointed again, but God didn't ask you to prepare the house. He asked you to open the door. Some of you have been walking around your own life like a guest, apologizing for your emotions, minimizing your dreams, trying to stay small so you don't take up too much spiritual space. But when God comes into your house, that changes too. Because he doesn't just want to be a visitor, he wants you to own the space with him. To walk through your own thoughts with authority, to speak with power, to dwell in peace, as if it's your inheritance, not a luxury, because it is. You weren't meant to live spiritually homeless. You weren't created to wander endlessly, hoping for a place to feel like home. You are the home. You carry his spirit, and now he's reminding you. You don't have to chase the presence. You just have to host it. Let this moment mark a shift in how you live. Because after this visitation, after this holy interruption, you won't see your days the same. You won't talk the same. You won't make decisions from fear. You won't carry the weight of everything on your shoulders anymore. Why? Because you'll know God is in the house. And when God is in the house, peace isn't just a mood, it's the atmosphere. Discernment becomes second nature. Distractions start losing their grip on you. What used to trigger you doesn't even get a response now, because divine presence trains your spirit without a syllabus. It aligns your inner world without needing to explain how. You just wake up and notice you're less reactive, you're more anchored, you're not begging for clarity, because clarity lives here now. This is what happens when God makes himself at home in your life. Suddenly, you're not trying to earn the next level. You're simply walking through a door that's already been opened. Suddenly, you're not praying from desperation. You're praying from partnership. Suddenly, you're not trying to force results. You're moving with divine rhythm. And I know what you might be thinking. But how will I know when this happens? How will I know that God has actually come into my space? You'll know because your internal world will shift first. The outer things may take time to reflect it, but the shift will begin with how you carry yourself. You'll feel less urgent and more assured, less anxious and more clear, less like you're waiting for a breakthrough, and more like you're living inside one, because you will be. And for some of you, this visitation is also a setup, a divine setup for something greater. God isn't coming just to comfort you. He's coming to position you. There's something he's about to ask of you, something that will require clarity, peace, and strength, all of which he's placing inside of you now. That's why the atmosphere of your life is being rearranged. That's why certain people are falling off without drama. That's why your usual distractions don't work anymore, because you're not just being visited, you're being prepared. And when the moment arrives, when God prompts you to move, to speak, to act, you won't hesitate, because the one who lives in you already confirmed it, not with lightning, not with signs and wonders, but with quiet certainty, because that's what his presence does. So let this be your confirmation. That restlessness you've been feeling, It was the anticipation of this encounter, that pull you've been sensing in your spirit. It was the door creaking open. And this message, it's not just encouragement. It's notification. God is at the door. He's not asking for permission. He's ready to enter. And when he does, your life will not go back to what it was. Because once God visits a place, he leaves evidence. You won't be able to explain it, but everyone around you will be able to feel it. They'll see it in your eyes. They'll hear it in your tone. They'll notice the stillness around you, and they won't be able to name it, but they'll know something holy lives here now, and they'll be right, because God came to your house, and he never left. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There are moments in your life that don't look like triumph, but in the unseen realm, they registered like a spiritual earthquake. And you've already had one of those moments. You didn't plan it. You didn't even know what it meant when it happened. But it sent a ripple through the heavens, a shockwave, and it broke something open that was supposed to stay locked for generations. Not because you shouted, not because you tried to make a scene, but because you did something no one expected. Not even the ones watching you spiritually. You chose what hadn't been chosen in your bloodline before. You responded to pain in a way that didn't repeat the pattern. You walked away from what your past was still calling home. And that, dear one, that changed the entire arrangement. You see, most people think that spiritual cycles are broken with dramatic gestures. But the truth? Heaven doesn't always move when you're loud. Heaven moves when you're aligned. And something you did, quietly, courageously, possibly with trembling hands, was so aligned with truth that it shattered spiritual agreements that were never yours to carry in the first place. Let me make this personal. You were never supposed to live in that kind of emotional torment, that guilt, that shame, that quiet punishment in your thoughts. That wasn't discipline. It was a generational lie dressed up like a lesson. And when you stopped agreeing with it, even internally, it was like the spiritual contract expired right then and there. You didn't just heal yourself. You disarmed something that had ruled over your entire lineage. And even though you felt it inside, you have to fully own it within before the outside can reflect it. Here's the part that no one tells you. There are spiritual patterns that have existed for so long, even heaven allows them to run their course unless someone interrupts them with purity. Not performance, not perfection, just purity. And that's what you did. You made a decision, or maybe it was just a pause, where you chose love over ego, stillness over revenge, boundaries over begging, and it was unseen by most, but not by God. Heaven saw you pause before retaliating. Heaven saw you whisper a prayer when you could have chosen pettiness. Heaven saw you walk away without needing to win. And that is the move that made heaven shift the system for you. Because sometimes the pattern has to start over, because of one move that didn't follow the script. And God, who honors alignment more than appearance, decided to reroute the next chapter in your life. Yes, that one moment, that one soul-level decision rearranged what was scheduled, because what you did sent a signal through the spirit that you were ready for more than just survival. You were ready for spiritual authority, not just freedom for yourself, but the kind of freedom that makes you a door for others. You thought you were just surviving a storm, but you were rewriting the forecast for everyone after you. This is the kind of divine shift that doesn't just reward you with comfort, it upgrades your access. And here's something wild. There were rules in place, not punishment, just divine rhythms, spiritual laws, and generational echo patterns that repeat until someone does something different. And you did exactly that. When heaven saw it, God said, "Make an exception. Start the blessing early. We have a new leader in the bloodline." That's not favoritism, that's divine trust. Because it's not that you were better, it's that you were available. It's that you were aware enough to not numb out. It's that you didn't use your pain to justify harming others. It's that you stayed open when it would have been easier to shut down. You held the line with no one cheering, and heaven kept score when nobody else did. So now, the systems that once delayed you are being dismantled. The patterns that once pulled you backward are now looking for somewhere else to land. Because you're no longer available for the repetition, you're not under it, you're above it. And the moment you chose not to repeat it, something ancestral broke. Let that sink in. The things your parents apologized for but couldn't stop. The wounds your grandparents tried to normalize. The silent patterns you were too young to name but always felt. They were all waiting for someone to say, "It ends here." And you said it, not with words, but with your walk, your restraint, your decision not to become what hurt you. You walked away from something old and stepped into a covenant that was always waiting for someone new. And now comes the part where everything feels unfamiliar. Not because you're lost, but because you're walking in territory no one showed you how to claim. You're stepping through fields that your ancestors only dreamed about. And the strange part, it feels quiet. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply still. Like you're finally breathing your own air. This is what it feels like when you break a spiritual system. And here's the beautiful tension of it all. You might still feel tired. You might still be questioning, was that even a big deal? But something in your life already knows. Because the atmosphere around you is already responding. The people who used to trigger you now feel distant. Not just physically, spiritually. Like their grip was broken and you didn't even notice until the next time they tried to pull you in and it didn't work. You used to spiral. Now you pause. You used to over-explain. Now your silence speaks louder than words. You used to brace for conflict. Now you walk away before the fight even begins. That's not apathy. That's mastery. The kind of mastery that's birthed in silence, not spotlight. And it's the kind of shift that doesn't need applause to be powerful. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a hallway in your soul, lined with doors, each one marked by patterns you inherited, picked up, or were pressured into. One door says self-doubt, another emotional debt, another never enough. And for years you walked that hallway as if those were the only rooms you were allowed to enter. But now, because of that one unseen move, those doors have started to dissolve. And ahead of you, there's a door with your name on it. One that doesn't just say new season or answered prayer. It says first of its kind, because that's who you are now. The first in your lineage to respond this way. The first to feel the pain and not pass it on. The first to walk through the fire and still keep your spirit intact. The first to say no to the familiar chaos, and yes to a peace that no one modeled for you. This road is harder. There's no script to follow. There's no one cheering from behind saying, "You're doing it right." But heaven is thundering. And now the blessing is coming, not as a reward, but as a recognition. God saw that you didn't retaliate when you were betrayed. He saw the restraint that no one else thanked you for. He saw you choose emotional intelligence when you could have chosen destruction. He saw you act from who you are, not what you went through. And heaven said, "That's enough. Shift the pattern. Bring the new blueprint." And here's what's coming next. Not just favor. Foundation. Because you didn't just break something. You built something new in the spirit. every small decision to protect your peace, every moment you chose not to chase validation, every time you loved without keeping score, it all became architecture. Heaven started constructing something with your quiet yes, a legacy, a spiritual landscape that others will now walk through freely because you paved the road. Your life is now echoing in realms you cannot see, not as noise, as permission. You're the reason someone else will feel safe to choose differently. You're the evidence that another way is possible. You're the living proof that love can interrupt the cycle. And now, the shift is making its way into the physical. Opportunities will feel random, but they're not. Certain doors will open because your name carries new spiritual clearance. The favor that once felt withheld is now rushing in, like it's been waiting for you to become this version of yourself. And what used to be patterns, they've become past tense. So if your world feels quieter right now, if your life looks unfamiliar, if your old triggers feel weak, and your new peace feels strange, don't question it. You're not disoriented, you're repatterned. The old grip is broken. The new path is unfolding. And it's not just about you. You broke something for generations. You became the reason God made an exception. Because in a moment, when everything could have gone backward, you moved forward, quietly, decisively, powerfully. And heaven said, let's build a future on that. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. At some point, you realized the safest place to hide was in plain sight. Not invisible, just underestimated. They thought they had you figured out because you didn't correct them. They assumed you had nothing going for you. Because you didn't advertise what was growing, you let them build entire conclusions off the way you moved when you were still half-healed. And honestly, that was smart. You learned something people with loud egos never do. That staying underestimated is protection in disguise. They weren't supposed to see it coming. The strength, the sharpness, the way your choices now reflect a whole new discipline. The way your name is starting to echo in places you've never even walked into yet. It's not magic, it's consequence of who you've become behind the scenes. Some people, even the closest ones, used your quiet seasons as evidence against you. They mistook your patience for paralysis. They treated your dignity like it was weakness. And now they're scrambling, trying to figure out when the shift happened. Here's the truth. It didn't happen overnight. It happened every single time you didn't stoop. Every time you stayed silent while they joked at your expense. Every time you forgave someone who expected you to turn cold. Every time you kept showing up with open hands while others came with hidden agendas. You didn't just survive disappointment. You carried yourself through it, with no witnesses, no applause, and no rescue plan. And now the payoff is starting to move, not like a wave crashing in, but like a change in temperature that you're no longer adjusting to. You're done lowering your heat, so others don't feel exposed. That's why they're reacting. You're not even talking louder, you're just no longer shrinking. And the contrast is blinding. This is what people never expect. They don't expect you to be the one who knew all along. They don't expect you to outgrow what they placed you in. They don't expect your life to start looking like evidence, not of luck, but of long-term obedience. You didn't need a stage, you needed a mirror. You needed to see what God saw in you before anyone else could be trusted with the vision. And now, the cover is off. Not just in a spiritual sense, in a literal, physical, visible way. People who once felt taller next to your uncertainty are now stunned by your posture. People who once used you for convenience are now intimidated by your availability. People who once doubted you out loud are now whispering your name with regret in their chest. And it's not about revenge. This isn't about proving them wrong. This is God proving himself right. He was right to back you when no one else did. He was right to call you chosen before anyone saw fruit. He was right to keep you hidden until your roots were deep enough that storms couldn't shake you loose. You thought you were being ignored. Turns out you were being preserved. And now the container is too small. What used to fit no longer holds. You can't play along anymore with the roles people assigned to keep you predictable. You can't make yourself digestible for people who were never hungry for your truth. You are showing now, not performing, not pretending, not adjusting, just being. And that's dangerous for anyone who was invested in your earlier version. They made peace with the idea that you'd never rise. They bet on your self-doubt. They called it support when they offered advice you didn't ask for, advice that always assumed you were beneath them. And now their memory of you is a liability. They can't talk about you without sounding out of touch. They can't gossip without exposing how little they ever knew. They can't replicate you, replace you, or reduce you. Because you're no longer running on explanation, you're running on evidence. And it's undeniable. You've got things moving now, internally, relationally, spiritually, that you prayed for in pieces. And though it's not loud, it's real. And what's real always surfaces. That's what this is, the surfacing. And no, you're not for everyone, but you're finally for yourself, and that changes everything. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a tree crack a sidewalk? Not overnight, not with noise. It happens so slowly, no one notices. Until one day, there's a split in the concrete, and what everyone thought was unmovable isn't anymore. That's you. You've been growing quietly underneath expectations, under labels that didn't fit, beneath stories others wrote about you. And now, you're breaking through, not with a shout, with a presence that's no longer asking for room, because you were never the thing they said you were. You were the root system, the foundation, the part no one wanted to study, because it didn't perform on cue. But now the sidewalk is splitting, and they're trying to remember what it looked like before you outgrew their framework. Let them. Let them wonder when it happened. Let them scroll through old memories, trying to pinpoint the moment they lost access. Let them revisit conversations where they called your discomfort drama and your boundaries attitude. Because here's the truth. They didn't lose you because you changed. They lost you because you finally stopped pretending. And that's the part they never expected. That the version of you they were most comfortable with wasn't real. It was a placeholder. It was survival mode. It was the you that didn't know you had options. But now, you do. You know what it feels like to rest without guilt. You know how to walk away without bitterness. You know the difference between connection and obligation, and it shows. Not in your appearance, in your decisions, in your peace. They don't recognize you now, not because you've become someone else, but because you finally match what God always said about you. And that's why this moment matters. Because when God lifts the cover, when he starts showing people what he's been developing behind closed doors, it's not a promotion, it's a confirmation. Not everyone gets to watch this part, but the ones who do, they'll remember all the moments you were passed over. They'll remember how they used your loyalty as a cushion and your silence as a scapegoat. They'll remember how often they made you the easy target, because you were the one who wouldn't fight dirty. And still, some of them will pretend to cheer, because it's easier than admitting they were wrong, that they laughed at someone who was becoming holy, that they misunderstood someone who was walking through fire without making a show of it, that they made jokes about someone whose name was being whispered in heaven the whole time. And of course, some of them turned bitter, because they can't use you the way they used to. And deep down, they probably know that, but they'll never say it out loud. But you don't need them to admit it, because God already did. That's what this season is. It's God saying, "They didn't believe you, but I did. They didn't value you, but I covered you. They didn't ask about the weight you carried, but I was measuring it with every step." And now the scales are tipping. You'll walk into places and the atmosphere will tell on you. Not with drama, not with ego, with depth. You'll say less, and people will feel more. You'll do less, and it'll land harder. You'll show up like someone who has nothing to prove, and that will speak louder than anything your past could scream. This is what being revealed looks like. Not performance. Permission. The permission to be whole, to be seen without softening your story, to be present without filtering your power. Let them feel it. Let them sit in the weight of their assumptions. Let them process your name with the new tone it now requires. Because no one clapped when you were undoing everything in private. No one cheered while you restructured your identity from the inside out. No one stood beside you when the grief, the betrayal, and the disappointment felt like a second skin. But heaven was watching. And heaven never forgets who kept building when no one brought tools. Heaven never forgets the night you cried, but still got up the next morning and chose love again. Heaven never forgets the decisions you made that cost you comfort, applause, and approval, but kept your soul intact. And now, heaven is backing your name, not with noise, with movement. This is God saying, now they'll see it, not to shame them, but to remind you, I never needed their approval to get you here. I just needed your obedience. You don't owe them your story. You owe yourself your freedom. So walk into it. Let the ones who misread you correct themselves in silence. Let the ones who projected onto you adjust their tone in private. You've got nothing to explain. The cover is off. God is showing you off. And what you carry now, it was always there. They just weren't ready to see it. But that's not your problem anymore. It's your permission. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Let me just say this straight. You've been carrying too much. And no, I don't mean in some vague emotional sense. I mean actually. You've been trying to keep everything from falling apart for so long that exhaustion feels normal now. And what makes it harder is that even the people closest to you, they don't always see it. They love you, sure, but they don't get the weight. The way you've had to smile and keep going while feeling like you're quietly falling apart inside. And it's not just one thing, it's everything. The pressure to keep showing up, the fear that you're behind, the second guessing, the wondering if what you've done was ever enough. You've hit the ceiling of this season. You've reached the high point, the place where more effort doesn't equal more results. And now it's time to stop. You've done your part. All of it. Even the hard parts, the unseen parts, the showing up when you were exhausted parts. And now, it's God's duty. You're not supposed to keep forcing things. You're not supposed to keep fixing what isn't responding. You're not supposed to chase down answers anymore. You're supposed to let go. Because if you want God to take the lead, you've got to let go of control. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you stop trying to control what happens next. It's like breathing. You can try to control each breath, but when you let go, your body does it better than you ever could. Letting go isn't passive. It's just a decision. I've done everything I could. Now I trust what happens next will come from something greater than me. And yeah, some things might fall apart after that. A relationship might end. A dream might shift. You might lose something you really hoped would stay, but that doesn't mean you're off track. It means the season is changing. Because life works in seasons. Some are fast and full, some are dry and strange, but every season has a point where it's done teaching you. And this one? You've reached that point. Trying harder won't make it bloom again. Holding tighter won't keep it alive. And I get it. It's hard to accept that. Because you've spent so long trying to keep certain people close. Trying to make the timing work. Trying to make something meaningful out of situations that weren't giving anything back. But what if this next part of your life isn't about trying anymore? What if it's about allowing? Letting God take the lead. Letting things rise or fall without needing to understand it all right away. Letting peace be enough, even when it's quiet. Letting the doors that stay shut just stay shut, without you sitting outside them asking why. You've done enough. And now it's not about forcing the outcome. It's about walking forward, simple, steady, honest, and letting God handle what lands in front of you. If it's yours, it'll stay. If it's meant for your growth, it'll stretch you gently, not break you. And if something falls away now, it's okay to be sad, but don't chase it. Don't question your worth just because something ended. Don't spiral every time a door closes. This isn't punishment. This is permission to rest, to breathe, to stop micromanaging a life that was never yours to control in the first place. And if you need to cry, cry. If you need to grieve what didn't work, do that. If you need time to just be still and feel nothing at all, that's also holy. But don't go backwards. Don't try to resurrect what God gently let end. Don't reopen what He's trying to heal. This next season doesn't come with a map, but you don't need one. Because the path is being built underneath your feet as you keep walking. And this time, you walk lighter, because God is carrying the weight now. Sometimes, after years of pushing, what you really need is to stop and remember who you are when you're not trying so hard. Not hustling for peace, not chasing love, not begging life to finally settle down. Just being, letting what's already true settle back into place. And for a lot of people, that sounds like weakness. But for you, that's healing. I know the world convinced us the opposite, always trying, always striving. But when you dig a little deeper, you know in your bones, life going to flow if you let it. And yeah, it's harder to do than to say. You've been in survival mode for so long, you almost forgot what it feels like to live without bracing for the next disappointment. So here's the truth. You don't need to keep figuring it all out. You just need to let this part be what it is. If you're in a pause, stop fighting the pause. If the door didn't open, stop pulling on it. If the relationship ended, stop trying to explain it to yourself over and over again. You don't need closure when you've already been released. You know those seasons in life when it feels like nothing's working? It's not always because something is wrong. Sometimes it's because something deep is being rearranged inside you, quietly, slowly, layer by layer. And that's the preparation for a life that doesn't just keep you busy, but finally makes sense. Let me give you something to picture. Imagine you're standing on a frozen lake. The ice has been beneath your feet for years. Reliable, predictable. You've gotten used to tiptoeing on it, adjusting your balance, pretending the cracks aren't spreading. But one day, it starts melting. And the first thought, panic. Because at least the ice was familiar. But maybe, just maybe, it's not melting to drown you. Maybe it's melting to return you to something deeper. The lake was never meant to stay frozen forever, and neither were you. You weren't built to survive for the rest of your life. You were meant to live. So if things are falling apart, good. It means you've stopped walking on what was never meant to hold you. And I know, it's scary to float when all you've ever known is tightrope walking. but God is holding you now. This isn't the season where you figure it out. This is the season where you feel your way forward, through rest, through trust, through quiet yeses and brave no's. You're allowed to live without having the 5-year plan. You're allowed to laugh again, even if things aren't perfect. You're allowed to stop mourning a story that didn't end how you hoped. Because just because it ended doesn't mean you failed. Look at everything you learned, the strength you built, the clarity you gained, the softness you still held on to. You're not behind, you're becoming. And not in some far-off, maybe one day kind of way. Right now, every moment you choose peace over panic. Every time you let go of what's dragging you back. Every time you forgive yourself for what didn't work out. That's becoming. That's how your future gets written. You're not late to anything. You're exactly where you need to be for what's next to find you. But listen closely, because this part matters. Stop waiting for perfect circumstances to give yourself permission to enjoy your life. Start with what you have, even if it's messy, even if it's in pieces, even if your heart still stings when you talk about it. Start anyway, because joy isn't something you earn when everything lines up. Joy is what returns when you finally stop punishing yourself for being human. You've carried enough guilt. You've replayed enough conversations. You've blamed yourself enough times. Now it's time to live like you're allowed to be happy. Even here, even now. God isn't looking for perfect people to bless. He's looking for people who are still willing to open their hands, even if they're shaking. And you've already proven your faith in silence. You don't need to do more. You just need to believe that what's already been done counts, that the seeds you've planted are still alive, that the prayers you whispered didn't vanish, that the quiet choices you made to stay soft in a hard world have not gone unseen. So what do you do now? You live, you trust, you let God do His part while you finally let go of the idea that you have to earn your way into peace. You're not in charge of results anymore. You're in charge of presence. Let that be enough. If it's meant for you, it'll meet you in the flow. If it's not, it'll fall off in the stillness. But either way, you're going to be okay. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you stop trying to hold it all together like your worth depends on it. It doesn't. So breathe, rest, let yourself be held. This part of the journey, it's no longer about pushing. It's about letting the ground hold you, letting your spirit stretch without breaking, letting your story unfold without forcing a single page. Because God is not finished, but you're finally allowed to stop fixing. You've spent enough of your life trying to prove you're strong. You don't need to prove anything now. You just need to allow. This is God's duty now. And all He asks is that you stop clinging and start flowing. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Some days are made by man, and some, they were set before time began. July 31st is one of those days. This isn't just a date, it's a spiritual checkpoint, a divine timestamp. Something has been circling you, something that's been stirring underneath the surface. You've felt it in the small ways, the sleepless nights, the emotional intensity, the conversations that left you unexpectedly drained or stirred. It's not just stress, it's spiritual proximity. When God is about to confirm something He's been building silently in your life, your soul starts whispering before your eyes can see it. That's why July 31st matters. Because for the ones who are aligned, For the ones who have been feeling this invisible weight without language, this date isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a divine activation point. And you may not be able to explain it clearly to others. You may have tried to describe that odd sense that something is coming, that anticipation you can't shake, that unprovoked grief or joy that hits you like waves. But most people don't understand frequency shifts. They only understand physical facts. So you bit your tongue when you wanted to scream. You gave your best even when no one noticed you were running on fumes, not to be noticed or approved, just because it had to get done. But here's what you need to hear. You are not making it up. Even if there's a good chance the people around you don't get it. You are spiritually sensitive, and what you've been sensing is about to touch down in the natural. Here's the truth. Some of the most significant days in your life won't look like much from the outside. They'll look normal. They'll feel quiet. But inside your spirit knows it's different. July 31st is that kind of day. A split-second shift. A quiet, divine interruption. A date that delivers confirmation not through lightning bolt, but through divine precision. And for some of you, the sign will be subtle. A delayed prayer finally answered. A closed door finally explained. A person unexpectedly removed or divinely reintroduced. Not because you forced it. The opposite, because you finally stopped forcing. Because you finally said, God, I don't get it, but I'm not going to try to run the show anymore. That's when things start to move. You see, this confirmation on July 31st won't be a reward for your hustle. It will be a response to your absolute surrender. The moment you laid it down and said, I've done what I can, now you move, and He will. But listen closely. Don't approach this day distracted. Don't dismiss the subtle. Some signs won't shout, they'll whisper. So stay alert and notice. A verse that jumps off the page, a phone call that brings peace, a door that doesn't open, and for once you feel relieved. That's confirmation too. Confirmation isn't always about getting more. It's about finally understanding what's been here the whole time. And maybe this last month has been heavy. You've been wondering why your emotions have been swinging, why your peace has been shaking, why you've been craving solitude more than usual. That's because your spirit's been preparing for this window, this energetic doorway, this date that's not just for a miracle, but for a message. God is about to confirm what your spirit already knows, that the season has shifted, that the hard part wasn't for nothing, that your pain isn't just ending, it's being redeemed. But listen to me, dear. You have to participate in it by being present. Let go of yesterdays and tomorrows and be there fully. And here's the best part. This isn't just about you. Because when God confirms something to you, it's not just a personal blessing. It's a public setup for something bigger. Your peace will ripple. Your obedience will bless others. Your alignment will unlock rooms for people you haven't even met yet. And even if these don't sound like blessings at first, trust me, you'll recognize them as blessings once you allow yourself to flow with them. So don't underestimate the power of July 31st. It might look like an ordinary day, but spiritually, it's loaded. What do you do now? Stay open. Watch how you speak. Don't cancel what God is trying to confirm with your doubt. He's not forcing things. He enters where there's room for him. So be still enough to notice. You don't need to predict exactly what will happen. You just need to be ready to perceive it when it does. And when it lands, you'll know. Because it'll feel like the moment the pressure lifts off your chest, and the next breath finally feels like yours again. Let me say this. Some days are written in ink so invisible, only your soul can read them. Until it's time. And for many of you, July 31st is one of those days. You didn't arrive here on accident. You were pulled, nudged, even shoved by life's strange momentum until something cracked open. That crack? That breaking point? That's where light gets in. And on this day, that light isn't just revelation, it's recognition. You're about to recognize yourself again. The version of you that knew things before anyone else confirmed them. The version that dared to believe something was being built in silence. Not because you had proof, but because you had presence. This isn't the day everything changes in front of your eyes. It's the day everything that has already changed inside of you finally shows up around you. And here's what that might look like. Someone will offer clarity without even knowing you needed it. Something that used to weigh you down will suddenly lose its grip. You'll walk away from a situation that's drained you for years without guilt. Or maybe the confirmation will be even simpler. You'll wake up, and for the first time in months, your mind won't race. You'll go outside and feel peace without needing a reason. You'll laugh, and it won't feel forced. That's confirmation too. Don't overlook it just because it didn't come with thunder. You've already been living in the miracle. July 31st is just the day your spirit gets the memo. And maybe you've been asking, but why this day? Why not a Sunday? Why not a new year? Why not when everything feels shiny and exciting? Because that's not how divine timing works. God doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He moves when you're ready to recognize what's already shifted. This is that recognition, like when a seed finally breaks ground, not because the weather changed, but because it was time. So don't expect this to be flashy. Expect it to be felt. Expect it to land in your body before it makes sense in your mind. That tug in your chest when someone says just the right thing. That knowing when you walk into a room and everything feels clearer. That moment of tears, for no reason you can explain, except that you feel safe again. Because this isn't just a spiritual checkpoint. It's a divine permission slip. To finally stop pretending you're still lost. To stop shrinking your wisdom because others haven't caught up. To stop asking for signs when you've been the sign this whole time. You've lived through the storm. Now let yourself dry off. You've learned the hard lessons. Now let the healing land. And I know some of you might still feel foggy. You're wondering, how do I prepare for a day I can't predict? Here's how. You don't chase it. You make space for it. That means not filling every hour with distraction. That means saying no, even to good things, so you can stay tuned to what's unfolding. That means being willing to be quiet enough to hear the small, sacred nudges. Because the message won't shout. It will land like breath, like clarity, like the final piece sliding into place without friction. But make no mistake. What confirms on July 31st won't be small. Even if it looks small, it will ripple. It will unlock something you've been circling for years. The kind of knowing that makes your past make sense and your future feel safe again. Because God doesn't just confirm for comfort. He confirms to prepare you for movement. So don't be surprised if a new door opens immediately after this, or if something you've been tolerating suddenly feels unbearable. Don't resist that shift. Some of you are about to be relocated, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, relationally. And this date, it's the marker. Like spiritual coordinates, realigning your internal compass to say, it's time. Time to release that version of you who begged for crumbs. Time to stop keeping peace by sacrificing your own. Time to believe, really believe, that your surrender didn't go unnoticed. Because it didn't. You weren't waiting for a reward. You were being readied. And now, the page turns. The old questions fall quiet, and a new assignment begins. One anchored in clarity. One not rooted in proving your worth, but living from it. So be there, not perfect, not ready, just willing. And if you feel the shift on that day, whether in your body, your spirit, or your circumstances, pause. Say thank you. Not because everything makes sense, but because you do. And that's what this day is about. The full circle moment where your spirit and your story finally shake hands, because this isn't just July 31st. It's the day you see clearly what God has been whispering all along, if you've been quiet enough to hear it. Just remember, you're right on time, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. You're not hearing this out of coincidence or luck. This is much more than that. It's God leading everything, including you being led here at this exact time. So stay with me until the end, because this might be one of the most important messages you ever hear. Not just to encourage you, but to prepare you for the holiest encounter of your entire life. Because you, dear one, are about to meet God. But maybe not in the way you thought, not in thunder or lightning, not in some dramatic explosion of power. This meeting, it's going to happen in the real fabric of your everyday life. And before we go further, let's set something straight. We've been taught, maybe even unconsciously, that being worthy of meeting God means being spotless. No mistakes, no doubts, no weak moments. We think we need to say the right words, feel the right things, do everything right, or we're disqualified. But don't be surprised when I tell you, that's not how He sees you. The kind, forgiving God doesn't want that kind of performance from you. It's like you not loving your child because they made a mess with their toys. It's not even possible. And if you're a parent, you already know what I mean. When your child screams, spills, or stumbles, you don't pull away. You don't withhold your love to teach them a lesson. You move toward them. You scoop them up. And even if you're not a parent, you've seen it. In the way a mother wipes her child's tears without being asked. In the way a father instinctively reaches out to steady their steps. That's what love looks like. So why is it so hard for some of us to believe that God, who is infinitely more kind than anyone, feels that way about us? Why do we assume that our sadness, our doubts, our failures push Him away? Dear one, He is not repelled by our mess. He is drawn to our honesty. He's not waiting for you to get it all right before He shows up. He's been with you the entire time, even in the frustration, the numbness, the late-night conversations with yourself that no one else knows about. And now, He's getting ready to reveal Himself. Don't look for God in grand revelations with lightning bolts. Don't wait for the sky to crack open or for a stranger to walk up and speak in perfect prophecy. Look for Him in what's already here. In the way a child laughs while you're stuck in traffic. In the unexpected calm you felt in the middle of a day that should have broken you. That's the art. To see Him where most overlook. To feel heaven's hand not in the thunder, but in the thread, holding your peace together when nothing makes sense. If you close your eyes on what's missing for just a second and open them to what is, you'll see it. You're already so blessed. You're already being guided. You're already surrounded by signs too subtle for the eye, but too loud for the spirit to ignore. God doesn't just show up in temples. He shows up in tiny confirmations. In the meal you didn't think you had energy to make. In the friend who called just before you gave up. In the tears that finally fell after weeks of holding it together. You want to meet God? Don't start with the sermons. Start with what actually happened last night, when you sat on the edge of your bed too tired to pray, but somehow still whispered His name. Start with the ache in your chest when you wanted to give up, but didn't because something inside you said, just one more day. Because when you can see Him in that, you start to see Him in everything, even in what breaks you, because it's also what builds you. even in the moments that sting, because they shift your path toward your truest self. This isn't about waiting for an encounter. It's about noticing you've already been having one. You don't need to clean yourself up first. You don't need to perform anything special. You just need to pay enough attention to see what's already true. And maybe that's what this whole season has been teaching you, not how to reach him, but how to realize he never left. Maybe you were waiting for abundance, love, or an easy life to feel God. Maybe you thought things had to line up perfectly for you to believe he's here. But it doesn't work like that, my dear. You imagined peace, maybe, or answers. But what showed up first was interruption. Like your favorite song suddenly didn't hit the same. Like you've been walking through the day wearing shoes that are just slightly too tight. Everything fits, but not really. Everything works, but it grates. That's how God begins to move in your life. Not by changing everything at once, but by making the familiar feel slightly too loud, slightly too hollow, not broken, just exposed. Maybe this is the moment to notice. It's time to leave behind what no longer fits. You didn't ask for this, but it's happening. You're not falling apart. You're just too close to something holy to keep pretending it's all fine. And maybe you've been frustrated by that, wondering why nothing feels enough right now, why the prayers feel repetitive, why the routines you built with care suddenly feel like they're caging you instead of carrying you. This is how God clears up the space for revealing himself to you. You're being led out of your old way of relating to God and into something that isn't based on formula, or the right words, or doing things correctly. Because that's what we think holiness is, right? Never missing a step, never messing up, never doubting or saying the wrong thing. But if that were the requirement to meet God, who among us could ever be ready? The truth is simpler. We don't meet God because we're flawless. We meet him because he's kind. And maybe you've been taught to impress God with your strength, to show up polished, to speak with certainty, to only approach him when your faith is shining and your hands are clean. But can I tell you something? God is not impressed by performances. He moves by presence. And even more than that, he's drawn to honesty. The moments you drop the act, the nights you whisper prayers that start with, "I don't know what to say anymore." The days you go quiet, not because you're ignoring him, but because you're exhausted and still trying to believe. That's not failure, that's intimacy. Because the realest relationships are built in the quiet moments, the unfinished ones, the messy middles, the days when you don't have answers but you show up anyway. That's where God meets you. Not when you've mastered the process, but when you finally let go of trying to deserve him. Do you really believe he'd stop walking with you just because you had a breakdown? Just because you've been frustrated? Just because you felt nothing when you prayed yesterday? Please, don't confuse spiritual sensitivity with instability. You're not spiraling. You're not too emotional. You're just waking up to what's real. You've been given more discernment than you're used to. And that's why everything feels a little too loud lately. You're overwhelmed because what's coming is weighty. Because God is pulling something closer to you that will change the way you see everything. And you're not going to meet him through some perfect ritual. You're going to meet him in the middle of your real life. On the day you oversleep. On the day you forget the words. On the day your chest tightens with uncertainty. He shows up then, not to test you, to reveal himself. In ways you've longed for, but never had language for. And I want you to remember this. When God gets close, you don't always feel safe at first. Because when he draws near, you feel every crack. You notice every mask. You see things in yourself you didn't want to face. Not to shame you, to free you. This is what holy feels like when it's real. It shakes you before it soothes you. So if you've been feeling like you're unraveling a little, if it's been hard to concentrate, If it feels like your words get caught in your chest and you can't explain what's happening to the people around you, this is it. This is the space where he steps in. He's not waiting for you to level up. He's not asking you to become someone else. He's not pacing back and forth, wondering if you're good enough yet. He's been walking with you this whole time, quietly, gently, through every failed attempt to get it right. And now, finally, he's preparing to let you feel him, not just believe in him, not in a church service, not in someone else's voice, but in the way your breath slows when you stop running from yourself. In the way you face life, its softness and harshness all together. That's what a divine encounter looks like sometimes. No flash, no spotlight, just truth. And once you've touched it, even once, you won't go back to pretending again. So don't shrink. Don't downplay what you're sensing. And for God's sake, literally, don't try to become perfect first. Let him meet you where you are, not who you could be, not who you used to be. Here, now, as you are. And in the stillness that follows, you'll know. You're not waiting to meet God anymore. You already have. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.